Okay, so now in this video we'll be taking a look at the different types of epithelial layers. And again, we're talking, these terms here are related to epithelial cells. That's what we're talking about here. So a simple epithelium. Simple epithelium means you have one layer. One layer of what? One layer of epithelial cells. So you have the epithelial cells, and then you have the basement membrane here. Basement membrane, what it's sitting on. That's the basement membrane. Now, but the point is that when you have a simple epithelium, it means one layer. Now, if you have your basement membrane again, and let's say you have more than one layer stacked, let's say like FedEx boxes. Even if it's, and this is 2 or more layers, so it doesn't really matter if it's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is plus, this is 2 or more layers. So if you have 2 layers, it's stratified. If you have 10 layers, it's stratified. Doesn't matter. The key is stratified means more than one layer. And of course, you have here the basal membrane. Basal membrane. That's what it's always sitting on. And that's how we can count if we see if it's stratified or not. Then you also have something called the pseudo stratified. Now, we know the word pseudo means false. So, we have the basal membrane. Basal membrane that it's sitting on. Basal membrane. Now, here you have it's pseudo stratified, meaning it's falsely stratified, meaning it looks tall. So if we look at these two here, for example, the stratified and the pseudo stratified are the same height. If we're just looking at this example here. So initially, when people saw this, they thought, "Oh, okay, this is also stratified." But the way that we know if this is, even though they're the same height, the way that we know this is pseudo stratified, it's falsely stratified, is because if you look at the stratified, you see a nucleus here, a nucleus here, nucleus here, nucleus here. But in the pseudo stratified, you only see one nucleus. Sometimes it's down here, sometimes it's up, sometimes it's here, like this. But if you only see one nucleus, that means it's only one epithelial cell. If you see 2 nucleuses, that means it's 2. That's how we know this is pseudo-stratified. But these were different cells. It's still simple, but it's simple because the nucleuses are in different locations. That's why we're saying pseudo-stratified, because it looks like it's the same height, but we know that it's not stratified because it's only one cell there. But these cells here in the pseudo-stratified are taller and look different than the simple epithelium. That's why it has to have a different name. Because these over here, of course, are sort of nice and neat, more like the squamous, sort of all lined up nice and neat here. So this is very easy to see. The pseudo-stratified, the nucleuses are in different places, but it's still one layer. So they had to come up with a new name because the nucleuses are in different places, but it's still only one cell. But it's not just, but it's just as tall as a stratified. That's why at the end they had to call it pseudo-stratified. So that is the main difference between the 3 types of epithelial layers.